You're watching 230 Factor. We've been trying to get you various perspectives from all sectors which are going to be likely beneficiaries of the union budget. One important voice from the education space now joins us on this show. Ninad Karpe is CEO and Managing Director at Aptech. Mr. Karpe, great to have you, sir. Let's start with a broad-based question. What would you like the budget doing in specifically for education as a sector? And then we'll come to individual opportunities that you can leverage on. But first, just on education.
I think there are a lot of expectations from the new government. Basically, in the last couple of months, couple of days, the decibel levels have been fairly high, which is welcome. For many years in the past, or decades probably, governments were in a denial mode for the education sector. Education sector should, in my mind, get priority of an infrastructure sector. It is soft infrastructure. And given this background, I am fairly confident that the budget allocation will increase in this coming budget for the education sector.
Right. But also, if you can help us understand in detail what all are the expectations when it comes to primary, secondary education, and whether the government can afford this kind of an investment in this space.
Well, India requires more of everything in education, more of primary, more of secondary, more of IITs, more of IIMs. But obviously, government will be constrained to prioritize. Education is a fundamental responsibility of the government. But at this point of time, I guess 89% of the sector of the students are in the primary sector, and 11% is in the non-primary. And out of that 89%, roughly 140 million children today do not even attend classes. Either there are no education facilities or they are unable to attend. Now, given this bleak scenario of primary education, my feeling is government will probably in the initial stages focus more on the primary education. Not that it will neglect secondary, but given the two, probably focus will be more on the primary because 89% stands there.
Right, then in that itself, Mr. Karpe, would you be looking at business opportunities within primary sector? Would you look at ancillary business opportunities which are tied in with the sector? For example, IT, there could be a lot of computerization of the skill set, which is something Aptech is already in.
Yeah, there will be obviously business opportunities for education companies in the education sector. One is there is a clear signal being given by the government of a public-private partnership also being extended to the education sector. This model has worked effectively in various sectors, including the IT sector, and I guess it's time now to extend it to the education sector as well. So obviously there, education companies will have opportunities. The second place where there will be opportunities is there is a big focus now to connect various universities with the internet as well as computerization of school, which would mean opportunities for the IT as well as education companies. And the third and the most important probably is a huge drive now to get in that segment of society which was not touched or untouched by education in two parts. One is by giving soft loans, and the government seems extremely committed to give assistance and loans, education loans to the weaker segment of society. And second, the government seems to be very aggressive on taking remedial measures for students, particularly in the SC/ST sector and other sectors. So what will happen is this segment of society which is not touched will get into the formal and other education medium, and a huge upsurge will be there in terms of the student population entering the education sector, which will mean obviously education companies will get a lot of demand from these students.
Mr. Karpe, that's valid point. Again, that's on the investment side. But how does the government generate enough funds to make allocation for the education sector? And also, how can the government get? What are the other methods wherein we can get capital inflows into this particular space?
There are various options the government can explore. One is, of course, the cess, in which there is still a lot of unutilized money which can be utilized. Second is public-private partnership, and I'm sure companies will be willing to participate if there is a transparency in the regulation process and the over-regulation which is presently there is diluted. And third is in a very calibrated manner if we can get FDI. All these things taken together will ensure that the funds which the sector deserves will get it. So it's not just what the government can do. I think government can allocate funds, but also government can make some fundamental policy changes, allowing participation by non-government companies and agencies, which will help the sector.
All right, Mr. Karpe, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. So again, highlighting a whole host of issues from higher education cess to increased public-private participation, FDI, and increased private participation in that sector. So these are some of the budget wish list when it comes to the education space. Commercial break, but don't go away. We'll be joined by Max King, investment strategist at Investec Asset Management, for a take on the global markets.